Hello, my name is Dan Armstrong. I'm an Adobe Education Leader at Lake City High School in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And today I'm going to take you through the digital publishing suite found in InDesign CS6. Many of these things will also work in earlier versions of the Creative Suite. So let's get started. Here we're taking a look at the file we'll be working with today. This is in Adobe Illustrator, and this artwork has been created for the Blackfoot Knights Little League Baseball team. And what we want to do is be able to display and share this content on many different platforms. And today we're going to take a look at how we could share this on the iPad. So just a little look at what we're going to be working with all these multiple artboards. So let's jump over to InDesign and take a look. Alright, we're going to start by creating a new document in InDesign. And in this new document dialog box, the intent has a new option for digital publishing. And inside here will default to the iPad. There are other options in here if we're going to create some content for those devices. Also, we could change the dimensions here if we wanted to. I'm not going to worry about that right now. And we'll say OK. It gives us this nice blank page. I'm going to jump over to my A master page, and I'm going to go ahead and put in a background to go in here for all of our pages. So we'll do a file place, and I've created this little background that's found in the assets folder that you can use, and we'll just say OK for now, and click and drag that from the top corner to make that fit the page. And now my A master has this nice background, and when I jump back over to the main page, now it will keep me from getting any other content selected here. So it will lock my background for me. What we're going to do now is we're going to create a simple slideshow here in InDesign with our Illustrator file that has the multiple artboards in it. What we want to do to make sure to take advantage of the Creative Suite is we want to check this box that says Show Import Options. And when we do that, it will give us this new dialog box here where we can actually thumbnail through these and figure out which images we want. So we'll start with the swords, and I'm going to choose then a range, and I want images 2 through 5. And that'll give me the 4 swords that have been created here. And we'll hit OK. And I'm just going to click and drop these all in the same place. And then with my move tool selected, I can drag over this and select all 4 images. And I'm just going to put them somewhere kind of close to the center. And I want to make this is going to be the main slideshow. So what I'm going to do now is we want to make some copies of these images to use as buttons, so that we can click on the buttons to go through the slideshow. So I'm going to hold my Option or Alt key on your Windows machine as I click and drag this, and it'll give me a second set of these swords. I'm going to scale them down just a little bit with my Scale tool over here, or S, and we'll just hold Shift to maintain our ratio here, and make some buttons about that big will work. And we'll switch back over here to our selection tool. And I'm just going to drop these in here now, one at a time. Get them pretty close to where I would like them to go. Alright, and one more. Get that close. The smart guides are really helpful here. The other thing you can do too is you have some alignment options here, where it'll actually align the vertical centers for you, and you can also distribute the horizontal centers so that everything's nice and neat. And we'll just pin that in there right in the middle. Okay, great. So now we have 4 images stacked on top of each other, and one of each of those images represented below. Okay, now we're going to put away our Pages panel, and we're going to jump over to this Object States panel. So with the selection tool selected, I'm going to click and drag so I pick up all 4 of those images, and I'm going to click on the new MultiState Object button down here, and that'll give me this MultiState Object. We could call this swords, and this is state 1 through 4. And we can know that that's set up and working properly when we see this little icon down here in the bottom of our sword. And we have now a dotted line around the box. I'm going to jump over now to our buttons panel, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this first image and I'm going to add an action to that image. And I want to tell it to go to a state. Now in here we can go to Object, MultiState 1, and I can choose state number 4 matches this icon. So we'll tell it we want it to go to state number 4. And then we repeat the process for the other 3 buttons. So add action, go to state, and this state we need to go to state 3, and we'll select the next image, and we would go to add and go to state and make sure that we pick out the appropriate state. And then the last one, we can do add action, go to state, and pick out state number 1. Okay, now this is all wired up and we can see all of the icons in here designating that these are buttons and the dotted lines, meaning that they are interactive items. So if we click this play button, the preview button down here at the bottom of our buttons panel, this will give us a preview of what the page would look like. And as I click on these different images, then it is changing which sword is being seen. So our slideshow is all generated, it's ready to go. So you would continue to do that for the additional pages that are coming up. So I'm going to go now and open up a file that's kind of completed already quite a bit. So let's go grab that. Okay, and we'll do, okay, we won't worry about the links too much right now. Okay, so here's what we have. We got our backgrounds, and I got to relink that image if I want to do that. We can just select that and relink the image really quickly. We'll hit open and say OK, and there we go. Now we're in good shape. So these are all now wired up, and I have 3 pages, one with the Knights logo, one with the Knight image and the Knights, with all the different pieces that go in here. Okay, so the next trick to this is when we are developing something for digital devices like an iPad, we want this to be able to rotate. And new to InDesign CS6, we have some options in our Pages panel. Right here I have my iPad horizontal version. Right here we can see pages 1 through 3. If I go to my flyout menu here, I can actually come down and choose to do an alternate layout, and that's going to be found in right here where I have my first layout is my iPad H for horizontal. If I click the little arrow next to that, so let's make sure we got that since I stumbled a little on you. Right here we can do create alternate layout, and it gives me this alternate layout box. Since it's a horizontal version for the iPad, it assumes that I would like a vertical version, and what it's going to do is rotate and try to preserve this as much as possible. So we'll hit OK, and when we look at these pages, we notice our background has some problems because it was horizontal. It needs to be flipped so that it fits on the vertical page. Well, it added a new master page for us, so let's go edit that master page. If I select the background, since I created it in Photoshop, I can just right click the background and go down to Edit Original, and this will open up the original background in Photoshop. So then what I can do is I can simply come in here and do an image rotation and rotate it vertical. And then with my Smart Object, I can transform it with Command T, and I can just come in here and rotate my image so that it fits nice again. And when I've got it how I want it, a Command S will save it. And when I jump back to InDesign, then it will have updated it, and I can simply take and update my frame here. And we'll make that content fit in there in just a second here. Okay. And then with our background, we'll just hold Shift and make that fit in here just a bit better. Okay, great. That might be about how we want it to fit. Maybe a little smaller. There we go. Okay, and now that's looking pretty good. Since we did that on the master page, remember, that now updates all of my other ones. So as I look at, I have my 3 horizontal pages, my 3 vertical pages, okay, and you might need to come in here and adjust some of these buttons to make it all fit. Okay, so let's take a look at this Nights one here. And this is an object state right here, MultiState Object. So if I get that selected, this is where now we start to get into the digital publishing part of things. We have the folio overlay panel, and what this will do is when you have an object selected, it will auto detect what type of object this might be. So this is telling me this is a slideshow. We could have it autoplay. We could tap it if we wanted to play or pause and set up some delays if we wanted to. We can do a crossfade and tell it how long. I like this checkbox to be able to swipe the image, so the person that is, consuming the content will be able to interact with it. And these buttons are already wired up as buttons, so there's nothing we need to do with that part. Okay, so simply by selecting this and going into the overlays, and now it's created this, and it knows that this part of the content is to be interacted with. So, and you might set that up, before you do your vertical version here. You could set that up just in the horizontal version. It would all be wired, ready to go. So that's really all there is to the overlay part. I do want you to know there are many things that you can do overlay with. Today the only one I'm really worrying about is the slideshow, because all of these are just going to be different little slideshows and work together. So the second panel we have to deal with is the Folio Builder panel. And all you'll do is you'll create a digital publishing suite account. And I already have one, so I'm going to sign in real quick. And when I sign in, it will show me all of the folios that I currently have in my digital publishing account. So I have a few things that I've been working on and playing with here. And so I'm going to show you how to create a new folio. Right down here at the bottom, we have this option that says New. So we're going to click on that. And it's going to ask us, what do we want this folio to be called? And we'll call it the Nights and 1 to make sure that we have a differentiation between my other ones. And we choose either vertical if we only had vertical, or horizontal if we only had horizontal. In this case we have both, and then we can just hit OK. And then what that will do over here is it has created this folio called Nights 1. Now we need to add some articles to that, so we can hit Add, and we can call this Slideshow maybe. So if you're doing this with students, you might put their names in here, and you could combine all of their stuff into one folio, and then they would each have their own article within the folio. And we'll take a look at what that does here in a minute on the iPad. So, and we'll just save the content. And what it's going to do now is it's going to load in this horizontal and the vertical versions of this document. So then we can see it very clearly, and it'll work out really well for what we're trying to do. So we'll give it just another second here to finish building the folio. And so now it's uploading the articles, so it's sending it to the web. And by doing that, we'll see when we get on the iPad in a second. When I log in, this new Nights 1 article will be available to me. So we'll give it just another moment here to finish uploading, and then we'll go take a look at this on the iPad. So this could be any kind of content that you do with your students. This could be, you know, their final portfolio and that they do for your graphics class, or they could do this for a project for English. You know, really it could work for just about anything. So also I wanted to point out too, in this Pages panel, I did do these two, the horizontal and the vertical options for the iPad. You can also create other alternate layouts in here if you wanted to, and you could choose, you know, some different sizes and things, give it a name, and you'd have some different things in there. So back to our folio panel. It is done now, and when I look at my slideshow, I have a landscape and I have a portrait layout. So that's it in InDesign. Now we're going to jump over to the iPad real quickly and take a look at how things are going for our digital content here. Okay, and we'll switch this on real quick. Alright, so inside of what we have is we have this Adobe Viewer app. And this is what it looks like. You can see up in the top left, you could sign into this. As we scroll through this, then it shows us kind of all the things that are available. So let me see if we can sign in here real quick. And this is the same thing that we used. This isn't going to work out very well because I'm not going to put in my password right now for everyone to see. Give me just one moment here and we'll sign into the digital publishing suite here really quick. And then I can show you what that content will look like. Alright, just one more minute here while it loads my library for me. Okay. We'll reconnect you now so you can see what's going on over here on the iPad. So as soon as I signed in, it is saying I now have a document available. I didn't give it a name per se. We just put in the name of the folio. So we'll wait for this to download for a minute. And it should go relatively quickly. It's a pretty small file. And as we can look in here though, and I'll share with you some of the different things that we have done within our class and whatnot. So here we go. Come on now. All right, and that's our new one. So here we go. This is what we just created in InDesign. As I flip it up and down, it will go to the different pages. If I flip it vertical, then it will go vertical, and I can swipe these images. Okay? So that is how you deal with the digital publishing suite. If you use this top button here, this is going to give you a list of all the articles. So if we jump back out and I show you one of these, so here's some things from my students that they have done. Got a little next button down here. Okay. If we go back to our articles view, you could see the 3 articles listed there on the left. Okay, and these are just simple little things that we had where I had them create little tutorial things that were important to them, you know, in Photoshop or Illustrator or whatnot. So I want to show you just a couple other documents here that we've created. So again, here's some more student work. We got 1, 2s, and 3s on the back, a little comparison back to home. So very simple documents that these students have been putting together, and still a very nice way for them to be able to deliver their content. So we'll go look at our Blackfoot Nights again. Here's the final version. So it went together really nicely. Some of the other things we've done is we've used these digital publishing suite to create things such as evacuation routes for the school, different just fun things that are available. So you can see that these students, they're first-time graphic students, they were able to accomplish it fairly simply. So that's the digital publishing suite as found in InDesign CS6. And again, my name is Dan Armstrong. I am found at Lake City High School in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. There is my email and my Twitter handle. So if you need any additional information, please get a hold of me, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode here with the Creative Suite. Thanks again, and we'll see you till next time.